Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Dobson from Product Marketing at Staffbase. Welcome to our webinar today. Send your intranet packing. Staffbase has something new for you. We are really excited that you've decided to join us today. And in today's webinar, we're obviously talking about some exciting new developments at Staffbase. And to do this, we have Staffbase co-founder Frank Wolf with us. Yeah, he'll be leading the webinar today. If you have questions, please feel free to write them in the question box here or send us a message on chat and we'll try and get those questions answered for you ASAP. And otherwise, yeah, I'll turn it over to you, Frank.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Lara. So really great to have you all here. As Lara said, it's really great if you have any sort of questions, feel free to ask here. If they are very specific, we may say, hey, we follow up with you guys right after the webinar. So every question will be answered. And if it's like a more general question, we are happy to answer this as part here of the presentation. So without further ado, what I would like to do is to share a presentation with you guys that we prepared to give you an overview about what's new, how it looks like, and what you could do with it. So can you see my screen? Question to Lara. Perfect.
Yes.
So farewell intranet, Staffbase has something new for you. One quick update about Staffbase, like really depending how closely you following us. I think the major point is we are still growing very quick. We're having now 230 employees from a lot of nations at 7 locations. We are growing very strong in Europe and also very strong in the US market. So we are pretty happy about this. This also has created a lot of interest of the investment community. We just closed a new investment round of $23 million from New Yorker lead investor Insight Ventures, and all other existing investors joined the round. So we are pretty happy to have them on board, and what we will do and with what we are doing with this money is to a big degree really put this into our product development, into innovation, to really keep delivering on being the best employee communications platform for our customers, right? So, and what we want to show today is a part of this journey. It's not everything we are doing in terms of product development, but it's a big part in terms of how you can use and utilize Staffbase. And that's why we want to talk about this in some more detail. Well, there are 2 main things that we want to talk about. The first one is a new feature package that we call dynamic pages. The source of this were a couple of requests from customers that were saying, how can we create more high quality, mainly also static content? How can we create more of it? How it's easier to create it without knowing some technical stuff like HTML? How can we create stuff that employees really like and that really looks great also in terms of branding of the whole platform? And the result is that we said we need a better way to create beautiful pages, to create useful pages, and give editors all the options there. But on the other end, also make these pages seamlessly available on desktop and on mobile. And I want to show you now a short overview how this looks like and what this all means if you talk about dynamic pages. So I am jumping over to our live demo. What you see here is a Staffbase test environment where we already did deploy most of the changes here, and then it gives us a chance to look at them now in a live environment. So what you see here is a demo page. It's an example page for, let's say, a human resources department. What you see here, the dynamic pages consist of a couple of elements, like for instance, this hero image up here. You can have an info box down here. You can have, as we call it, accordion widget. So you can kind of select these tabs and have more text or more content below it, and it's a way better approach to organize large amounts of text. You can have standardized profile widgets here, and we also introduced a new and better way to visualize and organize files on a page with this files list, and also a lot easier way to create links on a page. And of course, there are other elements that are already there, like a news feed that can be included in the page. All these modules can be brought together in a very flexible way and in a very easy way. And to show you for the same page what a mobile view looks like, this is a preview of the page that we're using for this here. So you see on the mobile end, it's responsive. So the different modules are going in kind of a list, and I can scroll through them. And it looks really also native to the mobile platform. So that's a basic setup of the page, how it could look like. If we look in some more detail, how you as an editor can set this up, or what this means for the daily editor work. This means if you have a new page, you can now select these sections, and in the sections you could say, okay, on top of the page, I want to have a very wide section, and below that wide section, I want to have a section with 2 columns here. And then you can go into one of the sections and you can add widgets to the section. And on top, I may want to add the hero image widget. So I select this. I can give this a name if I want to. I can select if I want to have a specific setting for the device visibility. So for the hero image, you may say, I don't want to see this on mobile because it's very important on desktop. On mobile, I want to be more service focused. And this means you could switch this off here. I can drop the image there. So let me grab a nice image from, let's say, this one. I can open this up. And I can now also go in and change the setting of the image. And what's also really nice, I can also define a mobile zone. So this means if I want to use this image on mobile as well, I can also say where the mobile view should actually focus on the image, right? So now I can press OK, and I can say save and live preview. What you see here on the mobile end, you have exactly the focus that you want to have. And on the desktop, you have the full image up here as I've just created. Now you can also type text on the hero image and whatever you want to do there, right? The second option could be some more widgets. So I could say I want to have a user profile there, go to the user profile widget, select the user that I want to bring in, and the user would automatically be part of the page. So as you can see, it's very easy to build up a page and also configure it to all the content needs that you have. To give a short overview about the widgets that you have right now, it's a static content widget, it's the user profile, we have the file list, an info box, the hero image, the accordion. You can bring in buttons, the news stage, a news feed, and the link list and the link tiles. There are more of these widgets that we will provide. We're also planning on a, as we call it, sitemap widget. So if you have more content that you want to store here, there's a widget that shows like a structure of the content in a subfolder that you're creating. So that's very easy to create. And now just to give you 2 short ideas what this could mean also in terms of use cases for the employee app and where this really would make a difference for the users. One example would be any type of larger document that today in the app needs to be uploaded as a PDF, was a very long page and it's very hard to handle for employees. And a good example could be an employee handbook that instead of a PDF could be organized with these accordion widgets, with these different sections. You could also have another download on below if somebody wants to download this and take this somewhere else, or some related links, right? So that's a very easy way to provide and distribute larger documents in a much better way. Think about any sort of policy guideline that you have in a company would be a good fit here. And what we've done here as well, if I go to the desktop, you see on the desktop I have the hero image because that looks really beautiful, and I have all the information. And if I use this on the phone, it's way more focused and service oriented. One other example is a company values page. This could also be, think about a page for onboarding. So you get new employees and you want to get your mission across, your values, things like this. And instead of just having a list, you can use the page to build up like a beautiful landing page for your values that starts off with a header image, then has a video in there, some text in there, and maybe also some values and other media assets that you have as part of this. This looks great on mobile, and it also looks great on desktop because you can have a different setup there with the different elements. So any sort of company initiative, change initiative, any sort of major topic that you want to communicate can now have a home in the app and also on desktop, and can be something that you link back on a regular basis. Could be any initiative about like safety stuff, about merger acquisitions, whatever you have there. Now is a much better way to organize that. So much about the dynamic pages. So that's one of the feature packages that we offer now. And I hope that's interesting and useful for you guys. The second option is a package that we call Front Door. And like the root for the Front Door came from especially a lot of requests around the desktop experience of Staffbase. Many of our customers came back and were saying, it's surprising that a lot of our employees also use Staffbase on the desktop. It could also be non-desk worker that use it on the desktop at home, but also desk employees in the company are using this on their desktop. Is there a way to have a better desktop experience around how we organize content, around how we can access external links? And pretty much the major question was always like, we want more content in there. We still want it to look really good. And we still want it to be very easy as is usually today with these assets. So to give you an idea of what this means from our position, let's go back to the live demo app. The front door package pretty much has two major components. One component is that we have the, as we call it, horizontal navigation here on the desktop. This means, as you know, until now, we had the navigation on the right-hand side as a list, which worked pretty well unless you have a lot of individual navigation items. So, and then this list suddenly became pretty long. 1 second, I think I need to close the window. It's a bit noisy outside. 1 second. Sorry for that. So going back to the navigation, what we have now is moved the navigation to the top, which also gives us the possibility to have just more navigation elements down here with subfolders also to even have more information in there, right? That's a great desktop experience. It's also built up automatically based on the structure of the app. So there's no manual work involved for you to do it. And it really depends entirely on which navigation elements and which content elements the employee is able to see. So with that, we are able to show a lot more stuff in here. The second element of the front door package is a feature that we call Launchpad. It's behind this, as we call it, sushi menu up here in the top bar. If I click on this, what you see here is a quick link Launchpad where I have all my important links for work available. This list is pretty smart. So first, it can be defined by groups. So I can have specific links that are coming because I'm part of the sales group or part of the safety team. I can have my own links in there, and I can also have general company links in there. All these links will come in. They will be, on one hand, be organized by alphabetically. We also will provide, until we launch this, a way smarter approach to organize the links. We will look at the last 100 link clicks and offer the links based on user behavior, like the links that you click more often will be at the top. We will also provide a search for the links here. That's something we build on right now and will also be part of the official launch in November. So this is a great feature, especially for desk worker that have more and more tools today that they need to keep an eye on, and where they want to have like one place as a jump off points into all these tools. And as the name already states, like the front door package should allow the users to use this as a front door into their daily work. Could be email, could be Office 365, whatever applications are behind that. Here's an easy way to jump off to them. So these are the two packages, and what this means for our basic platform, the employee app product. For the dynamic pages, it means a very simple creation of better content, many possibilities how you use it. Just think about the employee handbook as one example, and it's just more relevant for the users, right? From the front door perspective, it's a personal starting point. It's very easy to manage different tools in the workplace from one place, and it's just more relevant for the desktop users. So that's the overall like value proposition that we see in both packages. We're pretty excited about it. And there's one other thing that I want to mention here, because and you may say, hey guys, where's the intranet coming into play? And that's exactly the case, right? With these new packages, we can also go the next step with Staffbase as a platform. And to give you an idea what we mean with that, just think about the typical setup that we see in most companies today. You have the task to inform, include, and enable all employees. And usually communicators look at a pretty diverse landscape of channels that they are using for this, like from an email newsletter, employee app. In many cases, most of our customers use some sort of existing intranet to still do it. And in some cases, there's also a thing like an employee portal, so some sort of an integration platform to bring in other services, maybe from HR systems and so on, to the employee. And on the other hand, you look at a pretty diverse employee landscape with people sitting at a desk, people a lot of traveling, and people are offline and not at a desk, for instance, at the production or construction site, right? So until now, and that's, as I said, a challenge that you have in both directions. So from an editor's, administrator side, you have a lot of channels. It's pretty complex. It's time consuming, and it's just costly to have these channels. And for the employees, pretty complex to deal with different channels and to understand where he or she will find what, right? Until now, we cover this with the employee app. That's the basic Staffbase product that we are offering here. And this allows our customers to have the mobile channel there and also replace the email newsletter, because we also offer email capabilities around as part of the employee app. What we didn't offer so far was a replacement of the intranet. We've seen this that some customers were doing it, especially if they had a smaller intranet, not too many content in there. It was already possible because we already offered things like pages, although they were like more basic pages in there. And what we do now with the front door package and with the dynamic pages package, we have everything in place to really also support larger amounts of content, to organize this content, make it look great also on desktop, make it accessible on desktop as well, and also define what types of content you want to see on desktop, what you want to see on mobile, and what you want to see on both devices. So with these new packages, we are defining a new staff-based product that stands beside the employee app, and that's what we are calling Employee Experience Suite, that for the first time allows also larger companies to replace their existing intranets and to replace their existing employee portals with Staffbase and really have one platform that's employee facing, and that's really easy for both sides, employees and editors, to work together here. What do we mean with employee experience? As the basic setup, it means compared to now where you had a very strong focus on the company, on the content that's in there and how you want to organize this. The employee experience starts off with employee personas. So you're questioning a lot more like, what are the typical personas that we see? How can we improve and create a fantastic everyday work experience for them? And based on this, what are like the information and the services and what's the content that we want to give to these employees? And that's what we providing with the Staffbase platform, is a great targeting for exactly these employee personas around their experience and not so much a general company experience. One very concrete example of what this means, you can now use the targeting to show employees exactly the content that they should see. So in the navigation, they will see all the content items that are attached to. And on the other hand, you may say, I have a lot of other content that might be relevant. And it would be great that employees still find it if they search for it. So it's possible if you search to find all content in open groups where employees are not a member. That's a new feature that we introduced to the search as part of these new packages. So this means on the one hand, the employee experience stays very personalized, very individual, and very easy. On the other hand, even if you have a large intranet, employees can still search for everything and find everything that they are allowed to see in the whole intranet. So that's a very unique approach to intranets to make this very easy, but still very powerful if you're really searching for anything in the intranet. And it also means, as I've showed before, that the device visibility and the whole setup between mobile and desktop is very important for us. We first think about the mobile use case because usually that's harder to do. Things get messy very quick on mobile. A lot of navigation elements and other stuff is really confusing for users. So the first thing is, how can we make this very easy and very good on mobile? And the second thing is like, how can we get this across to the desktop and still use the strength and the space of the desktop for a great user experience. And you've seen some examples on how we do this. So for the overall product and pricing model that we have with Staffbase, this means that we will keep the existing product, which is the Staffbase employee app, with pretty much exactly the configuration and setup. And on the other hand, we are offering a new package that we call Employee Experience Suite that includes the employee app at the basis and includes the other pages like dynamic pages the front door capabilities, and two other packages here, processes, which is forms, and people, which is the employee directory, right? The forms and employee directory was already optional today, so we will keep it like this, but we package everything of the four into the employee experience suite to have a great value package, because it's also, if you take everything in there together, it's also more attractive from a price point of view compared to selecting all of these individual packages. There are some more options to add, but that really depends on if that's interesting. One is the Office 365 integrations for files and for the calendar. So if that's interesting, that's a ready-to-go integration that we released a couple of months ago. And the other one is the chat, which right now also gets a major rework. So chat will be, there will be a lot of improvements in there. But we see that a couple of our customers actively decide against chat for various reasons, and some others say chat is a very important part of the platform. That's why we took chat out of the of this both pricing options and make this available as an individual option here. We talked about this. I think I can skip this. The last thing to look at in terms of optional packages is the enterprise package, where there are more analytics capabilities, where you have the spaces. If you have like a large global rollout, spaces will also be improved. We will have a new feature called Space in Space, which allows a lot more flexibility in terms of how to organize spaces. This works also really well together with the horizontal navigation on the desktop, and you have some advanced enterprise compliance and customization option as part of the enterprise package. Okay, so this was a lot of information. Just to wrap things up, this means if that's interesting, if you say, hey, that's worth another look, we would love to test this. Both options are available for testing. The go lives start in November 2019. So keep in mind both options. There are some remaining things that we are currently doing, but we are happy to share the current status, exactly what you've seen here. Everything will be ready to go for November. Both packages can be bought individually, so it's not needed that you decide like on saying, I want to go to the employee experience suite or I want to replace the intranet. It's not needed. You can just pick one or both packages and run with it. And we will also, because we are in a product launch phase until the end of the year, we offer our existing customer a special price until the end of 2019. So if that's interesting for you, it might be really worthwhile to look into this until end of 2019, because the special price will end with the end of this year. If that's interesting, if you want to have more details, more information, we are happy to enter a conversation. The best way to do this is to contact your Staffbase Customer Success Manager for further questions. But the other great way is also to ask questions now here in the webinar or after the webinar to the Customer Success Manager or any other contact that you have at Staffbase. I think, yes. So thanks so far for listening. Do we have questions?
Thank you, Frank, first of all. We didn't have any questions come in during the presentation. We're not seeing any coming in now, but if you have a question, now's the time to ask. You can just type in on the question panel. Haven't seen anything in chat either.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Frank, for taking the time. It was fun, appreciate it. And yeah, like you said, if you do have any questions in the future, just contact your Staffbase Customer Success Manager. All in all, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, wish you a very nice Tuesday.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.